Okay, here we go again. So basically what's happened is the whole front end of this quad is done, but the amount of data that I have to go through to make the videos for the front end is so great that I want to go ahead and do it all on a weekend. So what I'm doing now is we're going to the rear end of the quad. I did have to order parts for some of the A-arms, so just bear with me, stay tuned. Once the playlist is done, if you have one of these quads, you can go to the video playlist, the link in the description below, and you can go through the playlist and you'll know exactly how everything is done. But the videos being released, we're kind of just jumping all over the place because I'm running out of time for editing on the weekend. So what we're going to do now is, since the back end is tore apart now and is going to get completely rebuilt, I'm actually going to paint the sway bar and check the sway bar bushings. And the sway bar actually moves. I didn't know that. But the bushings are really hard, and I think they're supposed to be hard. But I just want to inspect them, make sure there's no cracks and stuff. And then I'm going to paint the sway bar red just for a little extra color. And then I'll just show you how to remove it and then reinstall it when it's all done. I'm probably more than likely not going to show you me painting it. There's other channels if you want to know how to paint. So yeah, we'll take this off. Now I just need to lower the lift a little bit so I can get the camera to the angle that I need it. It's going to go pretty low here. But the front end of the quad ended up looking pretty good here. So if I decide to sell this thing will be ready to go for a new owner. Okay, so what we have on the rear sway bar is we just have two, I don't know what size this is, to be honest with you. These tools aren't marked. Oh, they're T30s. You have two T30 Torx heads on the top, and the nut will be a 10 millimeter on the bottom. And we'll go ahead get this thing loose here. Oh, they actually blue Loctited those. Kind of surprised. If you have a lot of mud on the top side of these Torx heads like I do, you're better off trying to remove the nut on the bottom and before you try to do the top nut, because the bottom or the top nut will strip out before the nut will. So adjust it from the nut if it's rusted or corroded or anything of that sort. And these bottom bushings, I would imagine that those are made that way. It's extremely hard, but I think they're made that way. So I don't think they're soft. I think they're hard. We'll go the other side here. And about painting this red, the thing of it is more than likely nobody will ever notice it at all. There's one. should have got my gear wrench. There goes the bottom bushing. This one's just as hard. So I'll come in and I'll clean these, and then I will oh my God. Dude, there's supposed to be a grease zerk in there. Look at that. There's a grease zerk on that. Hell, that thing is so old and nasty. Dude, look how bone dry that is. There's the grease hole there. It's caked with mud. They actually put a zerk in here so you could grease. Oh my, dude. Literally 2 seconds to grease this stuff. That's all it takes. Okay, we'll just pull the extremely dry. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to drop the exhaust to get this out of here. Hell, I never even thought of that. Oh no, I'm not. I am gonna have to disconnect that brake cup, I think, to get it out of here. I think I get it out of here with the brake cup removed. If I have to remove the exhaust, I'm gonna be pissed. Nope. There we go. Come out on the left-hand side here. And look how wore out the pivot points are, because they were dried out here. So you want to talk about your Polaris squeaking, boy, that'll cause it. So okay, next thing you'll see this painted up, and it's going to take me the next day or so, and then I will reinstall this. Okay, so everything is pretty much done now. We've got everything disassembled, and I have the sway bar painted red, which I got some grass on it. I don't know how I got grass on it. But we'll go ahead and reinstall this sway bar back. Now on each side of the frame, we had our rubber bushings here, and these were actually kind of hard, and they've got little grooves in them for when you put the grease, it'll spread throughout on the bar. So we'll go ahead and reinstall these, and I won't be greasing through the greasers, because I'm going to do a video at a later date with a detailed video of me showing all the greasing points on these quads. So if anybody needs to know where everything gets greased at, then they'll know and be able to watch the video. So we'll just apply a little bit of grease on there. What we're going to do is we're going to use Amsoil synthetic multi-purpose grease, and the reason I'm using this instead of the blue waterproof grease is that this stuff is actually red. So the paint job ended up not being super great, but it's not that big of a deal. So we'll just go ahead and layer some grease in there. And put it on both sides. And then we'll go on and installing the bar. Now before we install the bar here, Amsoil makes this Mudslinger stuff, which will repel mud and dirt, It's really good. I've used it before on other things. It makes them real shiny, and it just, considering I'm not sure what's going to happen with this quad, if I'm going to sell it or not, this will keep the mud and gunk off of the bar in case it ever does get mud jammed up in there. But it's really good stuff. Links below. Use my dealer number 554-1460. And I've actually got to look at my phone here. And the actual round bar will go to the outside, and the tie rods will go toward the flat side here. So it was kind of a little bit of a nightmare to get this thing out. And I can't remember what I exactly did. Here to get it over the can. There we go. Okay. It may be a little difficult trying to get it from the can, but we'll just insert it like so, and then we'll go ahead and run our Torx bolts, T30s, I think is what they were. Go ahead and get them ready to go through the holes. Then with our bar in here, we're going to have this round side is going to be out toward the rear of the muffler, and our tie rods are going to go toward the inside. We're going to go ahead and put our bottom bushing in, and we're just going to put a little bit of grease, synthetic grease on this bottom one, and it's going to smush out once we start to. We'll go ahead and get the other one ready to go too. Once we get this pressed together, it'll smush out. But this thing, if you watch my video, you can just see how dry this thing was. It literally, if they just would have greased it, it would have never wore the paint off of the sway bar. What we will do is we will go ahead and get our bottom bushing pressed in here. You're going to have some excess grease come out. Then we're going to take our greaser and our tightening plate here, and we're not going to tighten this up, we're just going to get the bolts on and then go to the other side. And there is blue Loctite on this. I'm not going to use it because I actually use nylon nuts on the end of here, which should be fine. Now on this side it's the same thing. We're just going to put our bottom bushing in like so, and there's a lot of grease coming out of there. Then we're going to put our bottom plate in. We're just going to hold everything together, then we're going to come back and torque it. Now before we torque it, I'm actually going to turn this a little bit. To get the grease on the bar pretty good. Now as I'm tightening this, I am not going to tighten this all the way down because we don't have our A-arms on the quad. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get this snug, but we're not going to tighten it all the way. And then once I get the A-arms on, I will most definitely come back and torque these to spec. Got grease all over my hands. So I've just got this snug enough that it's moving. And if you see grease pour out, that's actually a good sign. That's what you want to see. So we'll go back to the other side and actually, no, we're not going to. We're going to put our end links on. With this already together on this side, we are going to reinstall our end link. Our end link is going to go toward the inside. If I remember correctly, it's going to go toward our inside. Like so. And then we're just going to put our nut on. That way we have everything ready to go for the rear A-arms to be installed. Okay, then now we're just going to go to snug this side up. And then we will get our end links put on as well. And I'm just snugging this up so this thing doesn't move a whole lot, but our bar will still move here. And then we will reinstall the sway bar end link that is going to connect down to the A-arms, like so. There we go. So bam. Okay, if y'all made it through, thank you very much for watching and subscribing and making it all the way through the video. Next week's going to be pretty special. Actually, I have a package in the mail that is the final sample of the radiators that the radiator company I'm going to be using. So when I first thought I was going to sell parts, what I did was I started buying parts up for my Aprilia Falco that I just bought, and I actually decided that I needed to come out with my own radiator for this Outlaw 525. All the radiator hose kits, they're all thermostat delete kits. So I went ahead and I've got some silicone hoses being made. I got the final sample of the radiator that I'm going to do an unboxing of, and I'm going to sell it as a kit together, and we'll just talk about that further down the line. So keep watching, and if you have one of these Outlaw 525s or 450s, just watch the playlist below.